Hello boys and girls, so today we're going to be talking about decomposing two-dimensional shapes. Before we begin though, we are going to be looking at our objectives. Our content objective is going to be to decompose two-dimensional shapes, and we'll talk about what this word decompose means, so that's important. For our language objective, we are going to orally describe how we decomposed shapes, and we're going to be describing common or different attributes such as vertices and sides in our shapes. Now, attributes means what the shape looks like. So we're going to be talking about how many vertices and how many sides the shape has. And we have already talked about vertices and sides, so the next slide is going to be a review. So let's take a look at our vocabulary review. So here we have a triangle, and we know that triangles have 3 sides and 3 vertices. So let's review what sides are and vertices. Sides are the lines that make up a two-dimensional figure, and vertices are the points So here are my sides of the shape, and here are my vertices. Now, if we're only talking about one, that is called a vertex. Now, boys and girls, we already learned that, but this is just a review. So I want you, as we go through the shapes, I want you to repeat the shape names with me. So let's start with triangle. And we can see here that these are not triangles because they do not have 3 sides or 3 vertices. Now let's look at some quadrilaterals. I want you to say quadrilateral after me. Quadrilateral. A quadrilateral has 4 sides and 4 vertices. So a quadrilateral can be a trapezoid, it could be a square, it could be a parallelogram. It can be anything that has, any shape that has 4 sides and 4 vertices. So I can see here that yes, this shape has 4 vertices. Now here are examples of non-quadrilaterals. They have either less or more than 4 sides and 4 vertices. Let's take a look at pentagons. Say pentagon after me. Pentagon. A pentagon has 5 sides and 5 vertices. Let's count our vertices. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I can see that there are 5 vertices. Now let's count our sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This shape has 5 sides. Now let's look at our hexagons. So say after me, hexagon. A hexagon has 6 sides and 6 vertices. And if you remember, I told you that the word 6 has an X in it, and hexagon has an X in it. So that's how we can remember how many sides a hexagon has. So a hexagon has 6 sides and 6 vertices. Let's count our sides first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we have 6 vertices here. Okay, let's move on. Now let's look at, here we have our triangle. Let's look at the trapezoid. Now you tell me, what's another name for a trapezoid? Do you remember the vocabulary term we saw on the previous slide? If you're thinking quadrilateral, then that is correct because a quadrilateral has 4 sides. A quadrilateral also has 4 vertices. And let's take a look at the parallelogram. The parallelogram, as you can see, also has 4 sides and 4 vertices. So this makes this shape also a quadrilateral. Now the reason why we're going over these terms is because I want you to name the shapes by their name, but I also want you to take a look at the attributes. I want you to look at the sides and the vertices as we're looking at these shapes. So what does decompose mean? Decompose basically just means to break something up. So if we have this big triangle here, do you see how I broke up the triangle? I broke up the triangle because I have a smaller triangle within the big triangle, and then I have a trapezoid in the triangle. So that means that I can create a shape by having a triangle and a trapezoid, or I can break up or decompose a shape by drawing a line and making this now a smaller triangle and a trapezoid. Let's look at this shape. Let's see what this shape is called. Let's count our vertices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So here we have 6 vertices. So remember that this would be a hexagon, and because it has 6 sides, remember that X. So then what did I do to break up or decompose this shape? Well, here I can see that there is a trapezoid, and there's also a parallelogram and a triangle. Now let's take a look at this parallelogram, or quadrilateral, because it has 4 vertices and 4 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4. I broke up this shape by having a trapezoid, a triangle, and a parallelogram in the bigger parallelogram. So let's take a look at how we can decompose shapes by using a virtual manipulative that you're actually going to be using yourself. So here we have our website where we're going to have, I want you to, that you're going to practice. So I have a hexagon. Now, do you see how I can make different shapes with these shapes? So let's say that I have a trapezoid and I have, let's say, another trapezoid. How can I make these two shapes look the same? Take a look at it and think about it. I can overlap it to be able to see a little bit better, a little bit clearer, that I can make these shapes, make a hexagon out of 2 trapezoids. Does that work? Yes. I can see that this hexagon can be broken up into 2 trapezoids. So it can be decomposed into 2 trapezoids. Let's take a look at this one now. What shapes could we use to make a hexagon? So let's go back to our manipulative website. So I have a hexagon. I can hit clear. So what other shapes could I use? Well, I'm going to use my manipulative here and just kind of play around with it. So here I have my hexagon, I have my parallelogram, and I'm just going to kind of maybe grab a triangle and see where I can fit my shapes. Now in order to rotate, you just get the corner and you rotate like so. So here I made a hexagon a different way. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 triangles and 1 parallelogram that make a hexagon. Now let's try something different. Let's draw some lines to decompose. So sometimes we might not have the shapes or the manipulatives in front of us, and we may need to just draw the lines. So make this shape with 6 smaller shapes. So what we can do is trace. First, let's look at the name of the shape. So in order to find the name of the shape, let's count the vertices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Boys and girls, do you remember if it has 6 sides what that shape would be called? If you're thinking hexagon, then you are correct. And my hexagon has 6 sides and 6 vertices. Whoops. Now we can trace a line, and I can either make six smaller shapes. So within this hexagon, I have added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 triangles. Okay, now let's practice drawing some lines. So here it says, draw 2 lines to make 4 rectangles. So I will draw this way, and there's 2 rectangles. And then I can draw this way to make 4 rectangles. Let's look at this example. Draw 3 lines to make 6 triangles. 1, 2, 3. That's 3 lines, and yes, I did make 6 triangles. Draw 1 line to make 2 triangles. I can draw a line slanted this way, and I can make 2 triangles. So let's review. Did we decompose 2-dimensional shapes in this tutorial? Yes, we did decompose, which means to break up. And did we orally describe how we decompose the shapes? Yes, we can decompose shapes with using manipulatives, or we can draw lines. We also described the common attributes such as vertices and sides in our shapes. Correct. So I want you to practice using the manipulative virtual website, and in class be prepared to come in, and we are going to be cutting construction paper into shapes just like we did and how we drew the lines today in our tutorial. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed.